Billy, welcome home. Welcome home from your triumphant trek, a journey, really, a pilgrimage to see one of the last numbers that matter in sports. You went to go see Miguel Cabrera. There aren't many, man. There aren't many left. That sport's been overrun by the math people, but how many sacred numbers are left? And Billy flew to Detroit. And I was really hoping for Miguel Cabrera to get injured, but not so injured that we wouldn't know from day to day whether he would play. He'd just be doubtful. And I was hoping the trip would carry through Minnesota before they put him on the disabled list, and you'd have to go back out there when he came out of the disabled list. Instead, you merely had to wait a couple of days.
Why would you hope for that? Why would you want someone to be injured?
How close were you to not making just a minor injury, like a sprained thumb? How close were you to not making it at all because you flew out at the last minute? And did you arrive on time to the game where he didn't get the hit because bleep Aaron Boone?
That guy. So the day that I went there, I left at the first flight in the morning. I was supposed to land at like 11:50, and the game was at 1. And the ballpark is like 25 minutes away, so there was very little room for error. I almost didn't get through security. That was a whole thing.
You left 90 minutes. You basically landed at 11:30 for a 1:00 game, and he bats in the first inning. So you have to get.
Well, that's another thing, AJ Hinch, that we can talk about. He was batting 5th up until that game where he moved him up to 4th, and it's like, dude, AJ, you're killing me right now. Okay,
right.
Like
because
what
you might
are you
be late
doing?
to the game, right?
Exactly.
Yes,
yeah,
right.
one spot in the order makes a huge difference.
It does,
imagine, Chris. Yes. Imagine Billy decides he takes this family, and this one's going to be hard to explain to the baby later in life.
Yeah, I had many moments where I thought I am a bad father.
Was that your first trip where you took your baby on a plane?
Yeah, that was the first.
That's going to be a
trip.
weird one later in life. 10 years. Hey,
we went to a Detroit Tigers baseball game. Dad was a bit crazy. We almost got stuck in traffic and missed what we were going there for.
While we were walking around downtown Detroit with my daughter, I'd look at my wife and go, she's been to 2 places, Orlando and Detroit.
Showing her
Seen
the
it all.
world. Yes. So I imagine you in traffic, cursing traffic, barely there. You got to pick up bags.
I screamed an F word at a parking attendant direction. Wow. Not at the parking attendant, in the direction.
Right.
Yeah, I was very peeved.
You were rushed, crazed, and stressed, correct? Because you're trying to make sure that you get there in time for history. Like, how silly would it be if you get there 9 minutes later?
Well, there's lots of things that I didn't think through when this whole thing started. And then after, when I was, crossing the I's and dotting the T's, as they say, I realized there's some things that I need to fine-tune here. Like, I can't just Uber places with a child because I've yet to be in an Uber that has a car seat. So how do I do that? So then that's an option when you Uber?
Yeah, you got to ask for it.
Yeah, it's something, but there's very few Ubers that actually.
It's in California.
Really? So I didn't think that was something that could happen. And then I thought, should we just risk it? Should I be like very reckless and just have the baby sit on our lap while we're driving in a car?
No,
I thought I didn't do it, Dan. I just thought for a split second, but I didn't do it.
But I just picture you sprinting through an airport with a 10-month-old under your right arm like a football.
Oh, well, okay. So we get there, and she's not going to hear this, so it doesn't matter. We get there, and now, like, the race is on. We have to get there. And as myself, to put myself in the right frame of mind, I'm one who's fancied himself someone who would like to be on the show, The Amazing Race. And I thought, you know what? This is my amazing race today. I need to leave Miami, which, again, I almost didn't get through security. And then I was looking up, how do I get, like, TSA, pre-check, clear, this, that, the other thing? Yeah, no, it was too late at that point in time. So I almost missed that. And then, how is it that every time you get on an airplane that you're in a rush, it's the opposite end of the airport? Because I had to leave out of something called D60E. Yeah. There was a letter after the gate number. Yeah, no, but I had to walk out on the tarmac. Like, I didn't know this was an option at Miami International Airport. I went outside, I walked up little steps, and then I got in the plane. So we finally get there, and I'm like, okay, we got here 10 minutes early. Like, we've made time. Like, we're doing good.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. When you're in a big rush, is your flight at the opposite end of the longest airport?
Always. It always is. And we didn't take that tram, which is another mistake that we made. But once we get down, it's like, okay.
Seems like it's your fault.
The race is, no, Stugotz, the race was on once we got there to Detroit. So I'm like, all right, I'm carrying the baby. We're going to book it so that my wife
Oh,
can't
no,
say,
this
like,
is a terrible idea. So now you are sprinting through an airport with a child under your arm and in a
wasn't-
hurry and stressed and
No,
bumping
no,
people
no,
out of the
no,
way.
no,
And this is
no,
her
no.
first
No.
flight experience
No,
of
no.
any kind.
And a wife who doesn't care.
no.
And a wife who has no interest. Why are we doing this as a family?
Guys, no,
what are we
guys,
doing?
Guys, baby was not under my arm. She was strapped to my chest. I got one of those, I don't remember what that thing is called, but she was strapped
A
to my
harness.
chest. Yeah, it was a harness.
Yeah.
So I'm running with the baby on there, and then my wife is kind of like, slow down. Like,
So
I
not
can't
like
keep
a
up with you. I have
backpack,
short
but
legs.
like a chest pack.
Yeah,
You've got
it's
a-
called
Exactly.
a baby something. It'll come to me. We'll get to that.
Baby Bjorn?
Yes, that's it. So I was running with one of those on, and she was facing forward so she could see what was going on.
So
If
you're
she was
jogging-
facing myself,
so
she'd be
you're-
panicking.
okay,
Why are
so-
we moving so fast?
so-
But she was facing forward. Yeah.
So like James Harden comes into the arena with a stuffed animal
Speed
on his,
walking,
on
I would
his
say,
lapel.
yeah.
You are now sprinting to it.
Speed walking, because you don't want to sprint in an airport and cause panic. That's something that you don't want to do. And the last thing that I want to do is get pulled over by someone, not pulled over, but like taken aside, like, sir, why are you running? And it's like, well, I need to get to the, you know what I mean? So another thing that happened, they checked my bags, which was not in the plan. And that has now added like 10 to 15 minutes to this journey. And the 10 to 15 minutes that I thought I got back by landing early has now been taken away by the fact that my
Wow.
bags were checked. So as I'm speed walking, my wife's telling me, slow down. And then she said, I have a blister. And I'm like, a blister?
That's right.
Right.
She said she had a blister on,
Gotta
and I was
keep
like,
it moving. You
why-
got to keep it moving.
Why'd you wear
Suck it
those?
up.
Why'd you
Yeah.
wear those shoes? And she's like, oh, no. And I'm like, but wear your socks. Why aren't you wearing socks? Wear bigger socks. We're in a rush. She's like, no. So we had to stop to buy socks at the airport. So we stopped to buy socks at the airport, and that slowed down. But of course, like a good teammate that I am, I have to be supportive. I'm like, let's get socks. She's like, no, I'm fine. I'm like, no, let's get socks. You know what I'm saying? Like just suggesting very friendly, like we're getting socks because
friendly.
this is the last I'm going to hear of this blister. Let's get socks.
There it
Pick
is.
whichever pair of socks you would like to get, please.
All good.
So
for
we
the
did that.
baby.
Yeah, no, because we're being a good supportive family and teammates there. So then we have to split up. I say, you know what? I'm gonna take the baby. We had to split up. Yeah, because I have to now go to get on a bus to
Right.
get to the rental car because I had to get the car seat for the baby. But our bags were checked, and we don't have time to do both. So we split
this
up.
doesn't
Yes.
account for traffic.
That's right. We had
Right.
there was very little wiggle room in this entire plan. So
So
we
you
split up.
divide and conquer, right?
Yeah, we had to
Yes.
divide and
Yeah.
conquer. She got the bags. I got the car. I was going to drive back around, get the things, get her and the baby and the bags, but she got the bags before. So then she took the bus alone with the baby to go to the car and place. One of my many missteps in being a good parent, I would say.
Okay, you
Yeah.
did question your parenting skills
Multiple
on this
times,
trip.
yeah.
Well, one of them I would say is this level of stress to see a bloated 40-year-old stagger to first base
I mean,
in Detroit with
and
a
it's
single to
like
right. Like when
39.
you explain
I
this,
thought you were talking about Stugotz when you started.
so you went. But why did we go to Detroit, Daddy?
Well, so we get the car. Thank you for asking. We get the car, and it now says 12:15, and the game is out at 1 o'clock, and it says 27 minutes. So we were supposed to get there like 12:42 or something like that. And then we have to set up the car seat. I'm like, can I just get it close enough to being, the right situation? Because his car seat didn't have great instruction.
Give it a little shake. It's good.
Then,
And-
we got to change the baby. We got to change the diaper. It's like, let's.
And if we're being
when
honest,
we get
old,
there, come
old
on.
Blister is moving a little slow.
I was just saying, like, come on, like, why don't we can do that when we get there? It'll be
Well, she
fine.
doesn't care because she's like, why are we seeing this 40-year-old lumber out a jiggly single to right in Detroit?
Well,
A reasonable question, I feel like.
I offered to go by myself, but she's like, it won't be fun if you go by yourself. And I'm like, well, you're right about that. And I was trying to give her the out, but I didn't really want to go by myself because what would I have done there by myself? That would have been the
Well,
saddest
you
thing
said
ever.
divide and conquer, though.
Not
but,
piss her off.
Yeah, well.
but you didn't divide and conquer. You got there on time, but
Well,
then
hold
Aaron
on.
Boone bleeped
Well,
you.
no, Dan, we didn't get there on time. So we drive there, we make our way to the airport, and then it's like, well, we need to find parking. Do I have cash? Oh, that's a whole thing. But I did have cash, luckily. So I get to the parking lot, and it says $20. I'm like, okay, fine, I'll pay $20. I go to park there, and then they do that trick where they send you out of the parking lot that you decided to park in and send you to another parking lot. It's like, no, this is the parking lot that I wanted to park at. So they send me to another parking lot. I'm like,
What
okay.
trick is this you speak of?
They do this in front of the
The old bait and
FTX
switch,
arena.
Dan.
They
Yeah.
do this at the FTX arena all the time. Like those public parking lots, you'll go to park in one, and they own multiple lots, and they send you to one that's like far back. So they
Yep.
send you like across the street. So I'm like, okay, fine. We still have like 10 minutes of wiggle room here. So they send me to the second lot. And then the second lot is full, and they make everybody back
10
out.
minutes of wiggle room for game start or bottom of the
Love
first?
wiggle room.
No, for the game to start. And remember, this damn AJ Hinch decided, let's move up Miggy in the
Yes,
lineup
but you
today.
got
I don't
the
know
top
what his
of the
deal
inning.
is.
It could be 8 runs in the top of the
That
inning.
was
so you could
hopefully
get
my
a-
buffer, yeah. But look, let me tell you the way the universe works. There's never 8 runs in the first inning when I need 8 runs in the first inning, Dan. Okay? So we get to parking lot
put it
number
on the
2.
poll,
3
please.
up, 3 down.
Put it on the poll at LeBatard Show. Is there ever an 8-run first inning when you need an 8-run first
It
inning?
only happens when you have the first 5 innings under.
So they sent me from parking lot 2 to parking lot 3. Parking lot 3 is the same as parking lot 2 and parking lot 1, where they say that they're full, so they sent me to parking lot 4. Parking lot 4 says, hey, we're full. Go to the original parking lot. And I'm like, why am I going to the original parking lot they sent me out of originally? So I get there, and then one of the other guys is like, oh, hey, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I paid already. Like, I already paid. I have this ticket showing that I paid. Like, I just want to park. So he says, oh, go back around to the front. And I'm like, I have to wait in this line again now. So now my bubble is completely gone. My window, my
But
buffer is totally
you're
out
also
of this.
not enjoying this. This
Oh,
is
no,
not a
not at all.
celebration. This
No,
is
not
just
at all.
stressful,
No, this
fearful,
wasn't.
annoyed.
No.
You figure at this point you're not going to make it, right? You figure you're stressed, and you figure
Very.
And how are you already thinking in your head? How am I going to explain to people that I missed this by 4 minutes?
Well, yes. And also, because I know the people around me, I go, the people around me will want me to miss this. They would want me to go through all of this to not see this happen. Absolutely. That would, yeah, thank you, Tony. They would want me to miss this and have wasted my time and not get there. And honestly, when the whole process was getting started, there were 3 hits that night, and there was a 4th at bat, and the planning had already started. I'm like, I'm going to be on a plane tomorrow for a hit that already happened the day before. And I'm just going to be in Detroit for absolutely no reason. None
To
whatsoever.
see his 600th double, possibly.
Well, I mean, who cares about that, honestly? I would have talked myself into it if it happened. I'm like, no, 600 doubles, that's a lot better than 3,000 hits. Trust me, that's a lot better. But it would have been a disaster. So anyways, finally the guy just gives me my money back, and he's like, no, there's no parking here. Gives me my money back, and he's like, just find parking somewhere else. And I'm like, dude. And I screamed at the top of my lungs.
Jessica, I've never
30
seen,
to 40 feet away from him.
I've never seen you yawn.
Window
before,
down?
You
Jessica.
wasted 15 effing minutes of my time.
Was the
I
window
don't have a window for this.
Was the window down? Speaking of windows,
It
When you-
was, but
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, okay.
Jessica,
We already went over this on Mystery
Yeah, we did
Crate.
this on
It was-
Mystery Crate
It's
already,
still
yeah.
a great story though, Billy. We
Thanks.
didn't have the socks detail on Mystery Crate.
Oh,
That's
the
the
socks
but the
detail.
crate had it first. Thank you, Tony.
But
Yeah.
Billy, it was a bit of a sedative in the storytelling of recovering the entire journey, the quest to 3,000, and you can't stop yawning. You are.
Well, she's
stifling.
heard it already, yeah. Yeah.
Are there any other details worth noting?
No, he got the 3,000th hit, and I came back.
Okay, then I can get to Chris
Yeah.
Cody, and I can zone in here on something he threw out there without explanation. What level of degeneracy have you reached when you're betting unders
I'm
5
just talking
innings
hypothetical.
of baseball
Just talking
game?
hypothetical.
You haven't lived until you bet an under on the first 5 innings of a baseball game, Dan.
If you're gonna go, if you're
Oh.
gonna bet,
Fantastic.
if you're
The
gonna
under
go
or
over
over.
unders
Yeah.
in baseball, I do it when it's like 2 aces and I go first 5 innings. Like that. If I ever, I hate over unders in general. I never bet them.
There's no more aces, though. I mean,
But if
there's
it's
like a
like-
handful of them.
Yeah, if it's like Garrett Cole versus another ace, I'm like, all right, and then it goes over in the first inning. It always goes over early when you bet the first 5 under. It just happens.
Nowadays, neither of them will just get into the 5th inning.
Right.
It's weird. So no further comment on Bleep Air and Boone, the promo code from Sheets and Giggles?
Well, yeah, so we didn't get to that because when I spoke to them on Mystery Crate, we were 1 at bat in. So he went 0 for 3, and then we come to the bottom of the 8th inning, and they're winning. So I don't like the Yankees at all. I despise the Yankees. And I was rooting for the Yankees to score so that this would go to the 9th or go to extra innings because I wanted him to get another at bat. And some idiot on his team decided it's a good idea with 2 outs to try to steal second base. So then we lose a batter there that we would have in the next inning. So I'm like, we're definitely not going to get to it because they need to get at least 2 hits, no double plays. It was going to take a lot of things to work out for him to hit in the bottom of the 8th. And at this time, my flight is scheduled to come back on Saturday. So my hope is let's get this done at 3 o'clock on Thursday, and then I could just switch my flight back on Friday, and I'll be back, and this will be like a one-day journey. This was fun, la la la, enjoy the weekend, and that'll be the end of it. But no, everyone gets their hits, then there's a double play, there's an empty base on first base, and that GD Aaron Boone decided that he wanted attention on himself because he was a shitty baseball player. So he needed his name. He needed his name to go into history in some way or another because he had one moment, one stupid home run.
I mean, it was a pretty good moment.
One moment.
He had a
Everyone
solid-
forgot
He
about
had a
it.
solid career.
No, he was shit. He wasn't even the best Boone. He was probably third best Boone.
Well, his brother did a lot of steroids.
Whoa, allegedly, yes.
Allegedly.
Wow.
I mean, just
Well, he should have done steroids. He would have been better.
Allegedly,
He was a
as in,
horrible baseball player.
Look at his arms.
Even worse manager. I can't wait for him to get fired. I'll say it. Anyway, what were we talking about?
We were talking about why it escalated to bleep Aaron Boone.
Well, so Aaron Boone decided to make this moment about himself, as he does, because let me look at the numbers, which, by the way, worked out great for you, Aaron, because the next guy came up lefty-lefty and then got a 2-run single that lost you the game anyway, so that didn't work out. So Aaron Boone decided to make it about himself, so everybody in the stadium was very upset, Dan, and they were screaming at the top of their lungs.
Can we set up the details of the inning? It was runners on second and third with 2 outs, and Miguel Cabrera, Hall of Famer, coming up. You clearly walk him in that spot.
You shut the hell up and go back on your cruise,
Exactly
idiot.
right.
Chris, I talked to Billy yesterday about this, and he was saying that the hatred around Aaron
Well, hold
Boone,
on a second, Dan. We'll get to that. Don't tell the story.
Don't get ahead of
first.
yourself.
I'm sorry. I thought the story.
We'll get to it, Dan.
Okay,
He's telling a
all right.
story, Dan. He already told our mystery,
my
Chris.
bad.
So everybody, no, we haven't.
No,
This is
this
fresh.
part-
This is
no,
fresh. This
this
part I
part-
told. This
this
part I
part
told
is
you on
fresh.
God Bless Football. This is only the second time I told this part.
Yeah.
So everybody's just boo, boo, ah! Like all this hatred, and I'm of course joining the mob because I'm so mad. And then everybody, no, I didn't have the beer bat that day. I couldn't find it in time, and that game flew. This is the bottom of the 8th inning, and it was like 3:03, and the game started at 1:10. It was a pitcher's duel, and this was like one of the fastest games that I was ever in attendance for. So everybody's boo, boo, Yankees suck, Yankees, and I'm there screaming because I could see them, and I'm screaming Yankees
Is your
suck at the
baby
top of my.
on your chest at this point?
She was
still?
in my arms, and it was so loud that I could not hear her wailing for her life, horrified by how loud and how angry everyone was around her. Tears are coming down her face, which I never see tears. It's always like the fake cry that babies do. Yeah. But she's like horrified, like, ah! And I'm like, Yankees suck! And then I look down to see her, to see is she booing? Is she screaming Yankees suck? Also, she can barely say anything. But all she says, Mama, Dada. But is she saying Yankees suck and F Aaron Boone and all that stuff? So I look at her and I see tears. I'm like, oh no, what's happening right now? So then I turn to my wife and go, she's crying. And she's like, of course she's crying because of you and because of my blisters. And I'm like, well, relax. That's not what's going on right now. So I hand her off to my wife because she's crying. And then she's looking at me like if it's my fault. My fault that the baby's crying because I'm screaming at the top of my lungs that the Yankees suck, and not Aaron Boone's fault for making my baby cry. Because if he had not done his horseshit things that he was doing, my baby wouldn't have been crying because I would have been screaming like a maniac. So Aaron Boone made my baby cry, and I'm never going to forgive him. I can maybe get over the fact that he walked intentionally Miguel Cabrera to miss the 3,000 hit that first day. But I will never forgive you, Aaron Boone. Where's the camera? Where do I look at?
Get
This
him the
camera right here?
Get him the
Aaron
camera.
Boone, I will never forgive. That's the wrong camera. There we go. Aaron Boone, I will never forgive you for making my daughter cry by making me scream like a maniac at how much you suck.
Yes. Okay.
I'm not going to let that one go, Dan.
They made the playoff by 1 game last year. The Yankees.
They're not going to do shit.
They need every game. They made the wild card by 1 game last year. They got to play to win. He's supposed to just give up a game so Miguel Cabrera
He already
can get
lost
it
that
back.
game. He lost that game anyways. He was losing.
No, he's saying
He
they got
lost
the
that
hit
game.
afterwards.
Yeah, but they were losing 1-0.
But I'm just saying, you got to manage to win. You can't manage. I need to let.
Listen to me, Aaron Boone. You're a horrible manager. You're going to be fired at some point in time, and I am going to celebrate that because you, sir, suck. And that day, I started texting anybody that I knew that might have your phone number and told them, you let Aaron Boone know that Billy Gill thinks that you suck.
I have his phone number. I can give it to you.
You have Aaron Boone's phone number?
Yeah,
I don't want it.
Billy.
I
Yeah.
want nothing to do with that man.
Yeah.
I texted Boog. I said, bleep Aaron Boone, not to mention any names. And he said, what happened? And I didn't even respond. I was livid. And I texted Jabba Chamberlain. I go, yeah, I know you're friends with Aaron Boone. Bleep that guy. You tell him that I said so. I don't think he did.
Billy.
So then we came back the next day, Dan. And at that moment, I did, in a moment of self-reflection, like 2 hours later, think, Was it responsible of me to be behaving that way while holding my child? Was this a good parenting moment?
You are fine.
And
Billy.
I thought, you know what? There's nothing I could have done about it. I couldn't do anything about it. This is Aaron Boone's fault. I did all I could in that situation for my baby.
I do have to
Yeah.
wonder, though, Billy. I really do.
Yeah.
The father in you, your wife has blisters, as you've dragged your family to see the bloated
That
remains.
was self-inflicted, those blisters.
the
There were more
bloated-
proper socks, knowing the occasion.
Exactly.
The bloated remains of Miguel Cabrera's contract. He's hung on the last few years just to play for the money and to get to this
Whoa,
milestone.
Dan, come
No.
on.
But
He's having a year right
He's
now.
having a
I mean,
great year.
Yes,
Yeah.
the question I want to ask you, though, 2 weeks in, yes.
Yeah.
The question I want to ask you is, as your baby is crying and you are spitting poison in every direction.
Because of just
And yes, because of Aaron Boone.
Okay, good.
And
Yes.
you're leading an angry mob, and you look into your baby's eyes as your wife wants to cry too because she's got blisters, and you're helping contribute to the baby crying.
No.
But wait, you were saying that this noise was louder than the noise for the 3,000th hit. That
Well,
what
yeah.
your baby will retain from this experience was that the hate was much stronger than the jubilation.
Yeah, so if we fast forward 2 days to when the hit actually happened, I do remember the energy being a lot more for the negativity towards Aaron Boone than when the 3,000th hit happened. Like, I learned on this trip that hate overpowers joy,
Yes.
I would say. It was very loud, and it was loud for like 3 or 4 batters after the fact, and then when the inning ended, it just picked up again. Yankees suck! Ah! To the point that Miguel Cabrera is coming off the field, and he's like trying to calm down the crowd and telling them like it's 3-0, pointing at the screen. And while he's calming down the crowd, I did come out in the background like of the video, like in the crowd, because they like zoomed out to see like this angry mob of people screaming, and I'm in that mob. Oh, Yankees suck! Yankees suck! And then he's like calming us down, and it's like, okay. Maybe we can compose ourselves, Miguel Cabrera, but also hopefully the Yankees score 3 runs here, and then we can get another at bat. But that didn't happen, so we had to go the next day.
Welcome
the
home.
game got rained out, right?
The next day, that's another thing.
That's
that game
tough.
getting rained out.
Wow.
Because here's the thing. People are texting me pictures of the weather report that whole day, and I'm like, it's not going to rain. It's not going to rain. It's not going to rain. We'll be fine here. It's not going to rain. And I'm looking up, and look, I don't fancy myself an actual meteorologist, but part-time meteorologist, just based on all the hurricane tracking that I do during hurricane season, I feel like I do a decent job. I know about AQI, all of that stuff, right? So that's air quality index. Good AQI up there, by the way. So I'm looking around and I'm thinking, you know what? It doesn't smell like that much rain is coming, right?
Again with the smelling of the rain.
You have
Rain
to.
has a smell,
You have
yes.
to, yeah.
Did we ask this question already on the poll? Does
Yeah.
rain have a smell?
Probably, yeah. We've asked that question.
90% of the audience said yes.
I was feeling so good about the fact that it didn't rain that my hotel was across the street from one of the local TV stations. I think it was Channel 4. And I almost offered to go in there and do the weather report and tell everybody, don't worry about it. It's not going to rain today. Just go to the game. You'll be fine. But they wouldn't have let me do that, so I didn't do that. So anyway, I go to the game. This game starts at 7:10, and I'm feeling the pressure now because my flight is coming back on Saturday. I said, you know what? We got to get this done. Like, we got to get this done quick. And Dan's texting me kind of laughing, and Stugotz is telling me the whole time, I can't wait for you to go to Minnesota, buddy. It's like, I do not want to go to Minnesota. This needs to get done. And Dan thinks that this is funny, too, if this doesn't happen. So he's texting
It was
me.
really funny.
And
When
I
I saw
tell
the
him-
rain delay, I was like, this is good.
Hold on a second.
I told Billy I didn't want to see him for 2 months.
Chris,
Yeah.
Chris, can you imagine him hurting his thumb in the second inning of the first game of the doubleheader?
But he's day to day. He's day to day.
Hold on a second. So
He can pinch hit still.
I had a worst case scenario in my head of what was going to happen that I didn't text Dan while he's like saying, I hope this doesn't happen for you. And I'm like, there's a worst case scenario that I don't want to put out into the universe. And that was they start game 2. Miguel Cabrera gets a hit the first at bat. And then before the 4th inning, they call the game off. And then it's an unofficial game. The hit doesn't count. I leave and I come home and I missed it. And he has to hit 3,000 again because the hit didn't count.
Wow.
So I pay for parking. I go in, I find my garage. Great parking spot. I find my garage. I pay $25, and I ask the guy, I'm like, hey, what do you think? What do you think about this rain? Because everybody around town is saying this game shouldn't go on, and I'm like, it's barely sprinkling. I thought Detroit was this tough town. It's barely raining here. What's going on here? So I go in the parking garage. He's like, I don't know, but you're not going to get a refund if it gets rained out. And I'm like, asshole, that's not what I'm asking you. You're here. Is this game going to happen or not? So we
Some
say,
parking attendant,
No,
you're like,
he's- no,
is
he's-
this
no, but-
game happening?
listen,
I need to
he's
know from the
crazy.
locals.
He's screaming in front of
I
the baby.
need to
his
know from
baby-
the local. I didn't say that. I was thinking in my head. I just said, okay, ha, 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 and I giggled and I drove up the thing. But I was thinking, guy, don't be a jerk, okay? Just answer my questions, yes or no here. So anyway, I don't go into the game because I don't want it. This is another part where I'm thinking, am I being a bad parent taking an infant into a rained game where she's just going to be getting wet the entire time? And I said, you know what? She has to get sick eventually, right? If we want to build up, let's just get her sick now. We'll take her out into the rain. Sure, it's 50 degrees and, it's raining, and this is going to give her, like, all kinds of, I don't even know what kind of Cuban diseases she's going to get from this cold rain. But we got to take her and expose her to this stuff now so we build up immunities, right? But I didn't do it right away. I said, you know what? Let's wait until we get close. And as I'm there, I'm just kind of pacing by Ford Field because it's right next to each other. The layout, by the way, if you're a sports fan in Detroit, is incredible. Ford Field is right there. Comerica's right there. The little Caesars Arena Center, whatever it's called, is like right down the street. Everything is there in downtown. It's like really cool if you're a sports fan. But I wasn't there to have cool things for us. I was there for one thing, one mission. So eventually I see people are walking in. I'm like, shit, what are we supposed to do now? Because I'm getting these tickets, which, by the way, people were making fun of the tickets. Those tickets were like $35 on StubHub to sit like right there. Like, I don't know what was going on with these people in Detroit, but no one wanted to go. So like, you could get these great seats for really cheap.
I'll tell you what's going on. People are.
No one gives a shit is what was going on.
This is
It's
part,
baseball,
it's part of it, but it's also you're going to have to explain this story to your child at some point in adulthood or teenhood or whatever. And it's like, yes, this 40-year-old man, he hit a stick with a ball, and we flew to Detroit to see it
3,000 times, Dan. And there's only 7 people that have done that and had 500 home runs. I'll have
and there'll never be another.
It is
3,000 hits. Honestly, I don't know who does it after this for a while, because the people that are close are like 38, 39, 37, and they still need like 1,000 hits.
Robinson
Cano.
He's not going to make it.
He's at 2,400 hits. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's like 42.
No, he's not going to make it.
He's
You're
not
right.
going to do it. And
You're
then
right.
MLB like put out this graphic, and like one of the people that they put out has like 150 hits. It's like, whoa, let's like slow down. We're not going to project that someone's going to hit 3,000 hits at 150. Even Trout, like Mike Trout gets injured a lot. I don't think that Trout's going to get to 3,000 hits. Do you guys?
It is funny that there are so few numbers of any kind that matter, but welcome home.
Well, hold on, Dan. We didn't even get to the game yet. So the game gets rained out, and then I start panicking, and I'm like, I need to get tickets for tomorrow. And at this point, everybody's figured out that something's going on in Detroit. So then those ticket prices were just friggin' through the roof. So I ended up in the outfield, and what I paid for those tickets, whew. I mean, we're going to have to sell lots of extra sheets and giggles if we're going to have to make up for what those tickets cost me. So I go the next day,
Promo
doubleheader.
code fuck Aaron Boone.
Yeah, I can't believe that was a thing that happened. Man.
That was a bad call.
I was going to say, that seems...
Why was that a bad call?
Thank you for paying. That seems a little bit irresponsible if you're running a company.
we
It
should be
worked.
doing
They
that.
offered to send me to an F1 race.
You just looked into a camera and said the same thing to Aaron Boone
I don't run a
million
company.
different
Yeah.
ways.
Bleep Aaron Boone.
Yeah, I didn't say leave Aaron Boone. I just said I hope you get fired, and I can't wait till you do, and I'm going to
Well,
dance on
that's
you.
too long for a promo code.
Yeah. I did put in a group text where I was,
Why
That was
do
tweeted
you
out
care
in
how
the
someone
trade.
else
Yeah.
runs their business?
I don't care how they run their business. I'm just saying. And then I had to, of course, because the game has rained out, I need to move my flight and extend my hotel and get a car rental budget. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said the company. The company name one day was like the cost of like 3 other days of a rental car, just moving it one day. So then we move it, and I think, okay, there's a doubleheader. There's no chance that he goes 0 for 8, right? There's no chance. And luckily, we got it out of the way nice and early in the game. Then we were able to walk around Comerica Park, except the carousel wasn't working. But we don't need to, get into that. Yeah, the carousel, Dan, instead of horses, the merry-go-round, all tigers. Huh? Because they're the Detroit Tigers. You get it?
It's a nice touch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So anyways, he got his hit, and now we're back, and it was a mission, Ben. I think I was probably a bad parent for most of the trip.
Does Dan get it?
I do get it.
Oh.
Welcome home.
Thanks, Dan.
I don't know that you were a bad parent. It is wonderful that any of these things still matter numerically. Amin Al-Hassan has joined us. We want to talk some basketball with him.
Was it the 37 homer, 141 RBI year that had you say that about Aaron Boone?
No, about
Okay.
about Brett Boone.
About Brett Boone, excuse me. Yes,
that's right.
The
yes.
better Boone, yeah.
Well, indisputably the better Boone, but that doesn't make the
As a
Aaron,
person, too,
Aaron
yeah.
Boone a bad Boone.
No, he's a bad, shitty Boone, yeah. Worst Boone of all the Boones, yeah. Bob Boone was better than Aaron Boone.
I mean, Bob Boone was also a very good
That's
Boone.
right.
Yeah.
I'm surprised at how bad Aaron Boone's career numbers are. His
Exactly.
OPS plus is
Don't
below
be.
average.
He's a piece of shit. Don't be surprised.
A piece of Billy.
Who would say that?
Billy.
Who would say that?
Amin Al-Hassan next. I don't think that this will land with Amin because he knows where everybody is, but I'm imagining that some of you are like me when you exclaimed during the playoffs, the big story of the weekend, Greg Monroe is a Timberwolf.
Mm-hmm. Still out there, man.
He's still roaming around out there.
Here come the T-Wolves, Dano.
Yes.
They're playing well.
I do not trust Karl Anthony Towns. We will talk to Amin in a moment about what is happening with Trae Young and Kevin Durant. But the conversation I want to have with Amin, as Billy talks about how hate is something that pushes aside joy, this Nets team, a new generation, and really two different generations, because Kevin Durant is from one generation of social media, and Ben Simmons is so young that he's from another one. So you've got these young guys, Kyrie Irving as well, in a league where Adam Silver is saying, my players are unhappy. My players unhappy. And yesterday, holy shit, I mean, the way that Stephen A. Smith came after Grandpa media member came after Team Troll because they've been fighting the establishment all year and they're going to lose. And now we're kicking the holy hell out of these people. And Reggie Miller jumps into the fray saying Ben Simmons has no competitive fire, and everyone's applauding everything. As I'm saying to myself, man, DeRozan and Kevin Love was talking about panic attacks. Like Adam Silver saying my players are unhappy. Kyrie leans into it while he's fasting and now is just a shell of himself. That defense is suffocating and Boston hates you. It seems like a lot for Ben Simmons, who I'm not sure is an adult yet. Like, and I don't mean that as disparagement. I just mean that I didn't know who I was when I was 20 either. And I know he's not that young, but I'm saying he's been in the Kardashian machine since then. Like he's come through this social media of whatever it is to come out of LSU, not be a winner, win 14 games at LSU, and then date your way to a different kind of social media fame that makes you a celebrity beyond basketball. And now you're like, I don't know how that distorts someone. And you want him, I'd like him to be more professional as well. But I just found interesting that we seem to be having a mental health crisis in the sport, and we're pouncing on Team Troll.
I'd also like Kyrie to be more professional. I mean, why is everyone blasting Ben Simmons? It's Kyrie who didn't get vaccinated. It's Kyrie who hasn't been there for half the season. It's Kevin Durant and Kyrie who chose this coach, who chose to run James Harden out of town. And what are we going to do when they're down 3-0? Blame Ben Simmons for not playing in Game 4? Get out of here.
I never expected Stugotz to be the one that said, you guys ran James Harden out of town. It's your fault. Like, James Harden in this version of Stugotz's universe is the hero who was shunned by the Brooklyn Nets. Stugotz, you find a way every time to surprise me and pull out something new. Everyone thinks you play the same note, but man, I'm going to give you credit. You really do be finding new and creative ways to create blame and associate it with different people.
Well, I just love
for the most part, it's the same though.
I mean, as I'm trying to have a mental health conversation with you, he's just firing off takes in every direction. Just here's what my thoughts.
I'm tired of it with Ben Simmons.
But everyone's tired of Ben Simmons, who does not play. Ben Simmons is on the sidelines wearing, cartoon clothing while all his teammates are dressed in black, and sunglasses, wearing sunglasses as well. And so you tell me, when Reggie Miller pounces, he's got no competitive fire, and he's an easy target right now. These guys are saying the things everybody wants to say.
Yo, so first of all, he was described to me as either looking like a piñata or looking like a very tropical drink you might get at a resort. Those are the two descriptors I had for Ben Simmons. But Dan, this is what I'm going to say, man. I'm going to quote the late 20th century bards, Mobb Deep, and say there ain't no such thing as halfway crooks. Now, Ben Simmons, you can't have it both ways. You can't say, hey, guys, you know what? I'm coming back. Maybe we game 4. Maybe, who knows? Maybe I'll be back on game 4. Oh, I'm progressing. And meanwhile, they asked Steve Nash, he's like, yeah, he hasn't even gotten on the court yet. I don't know what you guys are talking about. And you have all of this bravado and kind of almost like I could see the fantasy developing in the minds of the people around Ben Simmons of, this is how it happens. We're down 2-1 in the series. He comes back game 4. We win the series. Guess who's the savior? That's right, Benny. It's you. And then they go down 3-0 like, ooh. Well, nobody's ever come back from this one. I don't want to put my fingerprints on this train wreck. You know what? I'll take a thought. I'm out. Sorry, guys, can't do it. And that's the reality. This isn't a mental health issue, Dan, because at some point we have to acknowledge that there are anxiety-inducing moments in our lives. There are times that are difficult, and we do have to struggle through in order to get through to the other side. Nobody lives a life where anxiety doesn't exist. Not even Jeff Bezos, not even Elon Musk. They have anxieties. They're different from yours and mine, but they still exist. So this idea that Ben Simmons somehow can write off anytime anything unpleasant might happen to, well, I have anxiety issues, is kind of preposterous to me. I think it's a cop-out. And it's disrespectful to people who actually do have things that trigger them that are fairly mundane.
It should be noted that we're all just talking about this and speculating when the only thing, as far as I know, that is ailing Ben Simmons right now is his back. We're shaping a narrative around him, a narrative that he also opened the door to this most recent season with Philadelphia, but we're attaching that narrative right now.
But just so that the audience understands as well, is yes, we're adding this, but I'm looking at the entirety of the starting point of Adam Silver saying, my players are unhappy. And Kevin Durant has been fighting the generation. He's older now. Kyrie Irving and Ben Simmons are almost a different time in social media as we talk about the cruelties of this and the addictions in it. This team is having some relationships with celebrity and the internet that puts them all together, and their various quote unquote head cases. They're head cases in a league. They've gotten together. They got the power together. They put it together in Brooklyn, and they're people who are trolls, and they are at the center of the celebrity machine.
It's falling apart for all the reasons everybody identified, all the off-court reasons that everybody identified. We couldn't have predicted a pandemic, but we thought Kyrie was going to be Kyrie at some point, and he used the pandemic to seize on the opportunity and beat Kyrie, gave him a lower seed, came back to bid him. Everything that we asked, that we wondered aloud, how is this going to work, came to fruition.
But the part that you're not allowed to say came to fruition, I mean, because I haven't seen it before, is Kevin Durant not able to be Kevin Durant. I've never seen such a thing. That's not a thing that's not a thing I've seen exist in this sport before this series.
So real quick, one last note before we move on, because what Mike said, well, this is an injury issue. All I got to say is I'll give you three names: Devin Booker, Chris Middleton, Clint Capella, who came back last night. Like, there's a way people have injury updates in this league, right? I'm injured, I'm out. And then, like, one day you hear, like, oh, yeah, he's progressing, but we don't really have a timeline. And then one day, the day of a game, questionable, and then all of a sudden he's in the game. That's how it works. Nobody announces, Game 4, guys, or Game 5, around that time I'll be back. Like, nobody does that. No, he did that. His team did that. The Nets didn't do that. Simmons' Circle did that. And to me, that just reeks of how can we pounce on something that can reverse whatever people are saying about him. It is manufactured. It is PR. It is not actually how you do things. And so that's the reason why I'm suspicious as, is this a setback around his back? No. They saw the team's down 3-0 and like, let them go down with them. Like, if I'm not coming back a hero, I'm not coming back. But to answer your question, Dan, no, this is pretty monumental. It's not that Kevin Durant's not playing well. It's that he looks tentative. I've never seen Kevin Durant tentative. You think about it, this guy played in the NBA Finals against the Miami Heat, a great defensive team with all-time level defensive players. He didn't look scared and tentative then. He played and against the greatest team of all time in 2016, the Golden State Warriors. He didn't look tentative then. There were times he was frozen out because Russell Westbrook was doing God knows what, but he never looked tentative. And what the Celtics have been able to do in this series, I mean, hell, he played against the Bucks last year. The Bucks were one of the best defensive teams in the league and the eventual champs, and he didn't look like this. The Celtics have managed to make him look like he doesn't want to be there, or at least doesn't want the responsibility. And I know we could talk about, we'll look at his supporting cast or what are the play calls, whatever, but years and years ago, when he was a member of the Warriors, he played against the Clippers, and there was a game where he had like 7 points. And everyone, going, oh, what's wrong? And he kind of scoffed it off. He said, guys, you know who I am. I'm Kevin Durant. And the next game he had 40. And so I think all of us, myself included, thought, okay, he had a bad game. He's going to come back and bounce back and have like a dominant one here because He's Kevin Durant. And for him to not, man, that is like kudos to the Celtics defense, but there's a part of me that's asking questions like, what the hell's going on with Kevin Durant?
Is Tatum better?
Better than Durant?
Yeah.
I'm not ready to say that. He's playing better this series. That's 100%. But I'm not ready to say he's better than – I think Durant's the best player in the league. Let me say that right now. I think he's the best player in the NBA right now. But he's not playing like it.
You say Durant is the best player in the NBA when backed by Boston's defense, Tatum's the one that's looking like Durant. Tatum's the one that's looking like the one that's making Durant tentative. Tatum is blocking shots. Tatum looks like a shadow body of Kevin Durant when he was 24, being aggressive, and jostling the team that Kevin Durant built, the responsibilities that Kevin Durant has. The whole thing is on his neck now. Amin, why would he get tentative? Why is it Boston's doing that to him?
Yes, but I wouldn't say it's Tatum doing it to him. I would say Boston's doing it to him. The Celtics are doing a really great job of, first and foremost, bringing help that's not a hard double, right? Because it's not a hard double, it makes Durant have to wonder, like, wait a second, are they coming or not? Because if they're coming, then, okay, he's a smart enough player and a good enough passer, like, I'm going to hit the open man. But when the guy's kind of playing halfway, he's like, well, is he or isn't he? So when he goes into his shot, then the help comes on the weak side, and now he's got to adjust his shot. And when he's adjusting his shot, unfortunately, he's adjusting it right into Tatum, who is big enough and quick enough to be able to bother that shot there. Second of all, when he puts it on the floor, there are so many hands in the cookie jar. Just look, every time, Durant wants to rip and go, which is what he loves to do, you see Smart and Horford and Brown, and all these guys are digging immediately. And the Nets don't have enough weak side action in terms of the other players moving in order for them to hurt the Celtics on this. It's an easy recover, in other words. If I go in here, dig, and then my man is over here, I can go back, and he's not going to move, right? I'm not going to be punished for leaving him because I can return, and he's right back where he started. So I think they're like Ime Udoka, his staff have done a tremendous job game planning how to make life miserable for Durant. But there's a part of me that just says, man, I think there's something else that's happening because I've never seen him be kind of like, I don't know. All of that stuff notwithstanding, I've never seen Durant kind of be, again, tentative against this kind of defense.
What does that mean? I mean, you can't, I don't understand it either, but the explanation is, you're a basketball insider. You just explained to us physically why it's happening. You just explained it to us. So why does it have to be something is happening? The ambiguous.
Well, he never plays like this.
Something is happening with Kevin Durant. Well, how about it's the Boston Celtics that are happening to Kevin Durant?
But haven't there been previous times where like superstars have this recognition? LeBron has done this in Los Angeles multiple times, where you just look around and go, I don't have enough. And I think that's probably...
He's got Kyrie. He chose the team.
Everything beyond that, like there was supposed to be a third star.
Right.
They were running with James Harden for a while. James Harden got sick of it. Then it was supposed to be Ben Simmons. And now I think it's pretty clear that they don't have enough. 2 options against that defense is not enough.
I think the other part of it, Dan, is you got to remember, again, this isn't the first time he's played against a tough defense. This isn't the best defense he's ever played against. It's just... maybe it's what Woody's saying, or maybe it's something else. Last year.
But they were a second away from winning game 1. It was enough in game 1. It was.
Yeah. No. I mean, and Stugotz, you're right. Like it was enough in game 1, but then game 2 happened, and now game 3 is happening, and maybe that realization starts to sink in. But the other part of it is, as Dan says, well, why? Why isn't it? Why it has to be something else? Stugotz, you actually had the right answer because we've never seen him play like this. Not play poorly, play kind of reticent. And, I go back to last year's finals, and, everyone laughs, and it was a good time about it. Saying the Bucks wouldn't win a game, and they ended up winning 4 in a row and winning the finals. He goes to the dunk tank and spends 4 hours in hypothermia. That was all fun and games. But afterward, we find out Chris Paul and Devin Booker were hurt. And it's like, yeah, guys, sometimes there's something that's going on. And that's not an excuse, and that's not to say, the Bucks championship has an asterisk. It just says that sometimes when you see someone you're accustomed to performing at this level, all of a sudden drop down with no answers, more often than not, there's something else going on. It's not just simply, whoa, they guarded me. I couldn't figure out how to do it. Like, you think Kevin Durant is seeing a defense he's never seen before in his history in the league? Like, again, as he's reminding us, he's Kevin freaking Durant. So to me, I have to assume there's something else. And if there isn't, then maybe it's just him getting old. Maybe that's what's happening.
From one
Maybe
season to the next.
time.
Or tired. They are talking about tired. And tired of all of it, right? Tired of
Kyrie.
it. Tired of Kyrie, tired of Draymond, tired of fighting the internet, just tired. I mean, stay there. We'll come back with you after this.
Live in.
We've got weekend observations to get to here at some moment. We've got to get to funniest thing from the sports weekend. There was plenty to get to. Basketball was super interesting, and we love to have Amin El-Hassan break it down from every angle after a fun playoff weekend.
Has the first round ever been this interesting? It's crazy.
Oh, you love doing that.
No, I'm serious, though.
Yes, it was. In 1999, it was.
What happened then? Tell us.
I mean, it's such an asshole question to ask me.
Yeah, but 10 years from now, if you say, hey, remember that first round 10 years ago? I'll say, yes, I do remember it.
You've said this every year for the last 17 years, and you don't remember any of them.
You're
Not
right,
a single thing.
Yeah, but ask me 10 years from now if I remember the first round of the NBA playoffs 10 years ago.
Now your move is look it up 10 years from now.
Yes.
That's okay, great.
Just remembered it. Write it down. Remember to ask me in 10 years.
Okay. I'm sure we'll be talking into microphones 10 years from now. When you can't remember things from segment to segment or something that you said 4 minutes ago.
I'll still be talking, though. I mean,
you will be talking, but not listening to any of the words you're saying.
Haven't listened in years.
Just gibberish spewed in every direction. I mean, can you please, though, cover the idea of Stephen A. Smith was indignant yesterday. And even if you don't want to look, I don't want to make for the excuses for these guys every time something goes haywire that it's mental illness. I understand Amin saying you've got to be a certain level of professional. What I'm trying to explore is someone the age of Ben Simmons, coddled since whatever age, however immature he might be, wherever it is that he's immature, in the new generation of not just athlete, but kids that age who have a different relationship with work than we do. I very much felt while watching that, even while understanding everything Stephen A. Smith was saying, that this was grandpa scolding the young about how to be a damn professional through the viewpoint of authority and management and people who are demanding that an athlete be professional in this spot instead of a clown show.
Dan, the funny thing is, I would submit to you that the majority of people probably echo Stephen A. Smith's feelings, even people who are not of that age group, younger people, particularly sports fans. I think that the segment of the population that are like, shame on you, Stephen A. Smith, is very small, and I think most of them are not sports fans. I'm trying to find the exact quote that he had when he said, make it make sense, Molly, or something like that. Mike, it was in a group chat, right? Like, if you can look that up so I don't have to scroll through my phone. But I think this is a case where I don't know how many allies Ben Simmons has on this, because I think it's what I said before. There's no such thing as halfway crooks. You can't be braggadocious and boasting and put on a cape and at the same time be like, well, respect my mental health, because it is incongruent as a duality.
But forgive me, Amin, because the reason I bring this up is because I just have never seen anything like it. A guy mentally short circuits on the court in a way that all of us can see. Never mind what's happening with Trae Young and Kevin Durant right now. A dude didn't want to play basketball. We all saw it. We never say that. Short circuits. Ben Simmons now, because of that, gets head case, whatever that means in the modern age, at a time that Adam Silver is saying my players aren't happy. And, you see Kyrie Irving, he just doesn't seem happy that the hatred around these people has extinguished some of the joy. When I watch it from that angle, I'm going to think back like how people behave when Ricky Williams allegedly smoked his career away 14 years ago or whenever it was, and the media crashed down on him as a waste of time. If we're having the mental health conversation, that team's exhibit A, on us looking back in history and being like, man, we were cruel. We were cruel at a time with some things that things these people were dealing with that Magic and Larry were not dealing with.
But I would say to you, Dan, that let's use Ricky as an example, because I think he's a good example. Ricky was a guy who enjoyed consuming marijuana, right? That was his thing. And he would show up and play. And then sometimes because of his sadness or whatever, or his disillusionment with the sport, wouldn't, take time off, right? Ricky's biggest sin was, not taking a substance that was on the banned substance list, and then also taking time away. What Ricky wasn't doing was like, I'm the baddest, I'm the meanest, give me the ball, get out of the way, but also respect my privacy. That's the problem. The people you're talking about, Kyrie and Ben Simmons, and they're not in the same vein as you keep bringing up DeMar DeRozan. DeMar DeRozan is a gentleman. He's a professional. He does things the right way, and then he opens up and says, I have this going on. And what is the response? Overwhelmingly positive, overwhelmingly supportive, right? Even Kevin Love, someone who people said, hey, man, you choked and you're not good enough and da-da-da. He comes out with that stuff, and the response is overwhelmingly positive and supportive. The people who are getting backlash are the people who want it both ways. They want to behave like Gilbert Arenas, and they want to behave like, Gary Payton and talk trash and who's got the biggest balls on the block and all that stuff. And then at the same time, they want to run away or shirk or create some sort of situation to protect from when they're not feeling great. Paul George is another example. Paul George having bad games in the playoffs in the bubble. And then the moment he has a good game, he's like, yeah, I was in a dark place, but then I got out of it. Well, were you in a dark place and then you got out of it, or did you have a good game and that got you out of a dark place? Because those are two very different things. On the one hand, we have, man, I'm not playing well. Man, that's not good. I don't feel great about myself when I don't do my job well. On the other hand, there's, I don't feel great about myself, regardless of how I'm doing in my job. And I think we take the latter very seriously, and the former sounds like, yeah, dude, no one feels good when they're not playing well. But I do want to do the Stephen A. Smith quote right here. This is courtesy of Mike Ryan of Dan Le Batard Show, Metal Arc Media.
Well, it's courtesy of Stephen A. Smith, right?
But it came to me through Mike Ryan.
Gotcha.
So.
Okay.
First, it was your mental health, and of course, that's something we take very, very seriously. But now it's your back. How? How can someone hurt their back without playing? How? That's what I want to know, Molly.
So good.
It is pretty good. At Le Batard Show, if you want to vote on any of the polls, let's segue here to wish a happy birthday here, a happy 58th birthday to Hank Azaria.
Happy birthday to him. I don't care. Good luck.
Elon Musk has been confirmed to buy Twitter. It's done now.
Several legacy media outlets are reporting that Twitter is accepting Elon Musk's initial bid of $43 billion. This would privatize Twitter in all likelihood. They had to honor their fiduciary duty. Yeah, and Elon Musk has won Twitter.
The richest man in the world now owns Twitter, and what's he going to do with it? I heard Tony yelling, I'm still going to use it. I heard other people yelling, you can't change it on me, Elon. I have no earthly idea what it is that he wants to do. Have it the way Zuckerberg had Facebook, so that he's got a propaganda
You think he
outlet?
has an idea? You think Elon Musk went into this with some sort of game plan? He just wants to buy the thing.
You don't think he has an idea? I think you spent $43 billion. You have some sort of agenda.
All he has is ideas. Execute one of them. I mean, if he has them, execute one. Any of them. Go ahead.
Stugotz, he had an idea to buy Twitter.
Yep.
He just
now what?
He just executed it.
Stugotz, Chris Cody is marveling at your ability to just play the
hits, baby. You always got to work a hit in mid-show. We're getting towards the end now,
but
before
it's
the
weird.
end.
Little lull,
Do
I
something
sense the
Elon
lull,
Musk when
yeah,
he just
right.
did something is a bit of a weird one.
Well,
What did
he
he
put
do?
together the funding,
Right.
but he hasn't told us what he's actually going to do other than potentially privatize Twitter.
He's been
what does that mean though?
He has been live tweeting some ideas. Get rid of the bot seems to be a big one, but House conservatives seem to think that this is all about freeing at Donald Trump. So we'll see. The conservatives are doing quite the victory lap on Twitter right now, thinking that they will no longer.
They're back on Twitter?
Be subject to it's weird.
On
They're
Parler.
not on Truth
They're on Parler.
or Parler.
Let us now dissect what it is that has just happened, where in real time, this has been something that for a while was poison pilled and people this kind of rich, not that there have ever been any, but he's the wealthiest man in the world, and that is nothing for him because it really is. His wealth is so staggering and became so much more staggering during the pandemic that it's a couple of days' work. It's nothing. He's in a realm that this is a toy he can buy. Twitter is absolutely a toy he can buy and can be doing it if he wishes, the way Stugotz is saying flippantly. I just want a toy. I want to change the edit button. on Twitter and I want a toy, and he can do that.
I want to show you that I can offer $43 billion to someone and buy Twitter.
But
you
can say do something, Elon Musk. But what he has done is he has earned $43 billion in wealth that allow him to play with something the way that you would pay with nickels for something.
Not to be pedantic, but it's 46.5 billion.
For who?
Yeah, the New York Times reporting he began lining up 46.5 billion with the aid of Morgan Stanley.
And Stugotz, what I ask you, you've seen some of the evil done by Zuckerberg with Facebook as he buys up land all over Hawaii that is supposed to be precious land, because you cannot trust these billionaires to do the right thing. You simply cannot. As during a pandemic, their wealth grows and they get all sorts of tax breaks and the IRS doesn't work quite right. And they're just floating around in the sky with rockets. And the question becomes, as Zuckerberg has Facebook, as Bezos has the Washington Post and Legacy Media, and now Elon Musk is, as Peter Thiel bankrupts Gawker, and now Elon Musk has a giant weapon at his disposal, and I don't think any of us know what he's going to do with it. And do we? You can say he's going to do nothing if you want to play the hits, but he just bought it for a reason, and I don't think he's being flippant like he is with many other things. Powerful people want powerful toys, and he just bought one. And when all of the power resides journalistically of reach with the richest of people, I do not trust them to do the right thing ever.
Powerful people like to show that they're powerful and more powerful than anyone else. Like they're the most powerful. And I think this is what he did. It's like a hobby. It's like, okay, I'm going to buy Twitter.
Okay, you could say it's a toy. There's got to be a motive.
What's he going to do with it?
Stugotz, I look, man, this is a giant propaganda tool. Have you not seen what happens here, Stugotz, with the bots and with war? Like just misinformation, and everyone is fighting in the media for their own echo chambers. The media is under assault. Local news is dying all over the place. There are no checks and balances, and the rich guys want all the big stuff.
Right, but the bots and stuff, that's going on now. If he's going to eliminate the bots, I'm for that. I'm not for just reinstalling perceived rights of insurrectionists. I don't like that part. But if we're going to get rid of the bots, look, man, we're Twitter users. Twitter's a bad place most of the time. It could absolutely use some work. I'm not sure this is the person that I want pulling the puppet strings, but it, as a platform, it's very toxic.
I'm skeptical of anyone who has that much money and wants to spend it on more Twitter in their lives. I mean, if I had that much money, you would not see me near Twitter.com. Let's be honest.
I mean, it would appear obvious that like it's the tech ideals that are coming, right? This is a free space. Tech platforms are platforms. They are not editorial content decision makers. I think what you'll probably end up seeing is the deplatforming of certain people is as a result of Twitter having made editorial decisions. And I think what Elon Musk is going to bring is a more tech-based, you're not a media company, which they very much are. Like Facebook and Twitter are responsible for huge amounts of traffic that come to news sites, and in some ways, without those spigots of audience, it's going to be very tough to get audience into your journalism. And so they control in some ways who sees things, and that's very dangerous.
We'll get Amin's take on this now. I do know that he tweeted out that everybody should be verified, so I do think that some of the insurrectionist movement and misinformation stuff, you can boil a lot of that down to it's not just one voice, it's one voice and then a war of bots in your mentions. If we eliminate bots, I do think that we get a little bit better, despite some of the problems that come with reinstalling the platform that Donald Trump had, for instance. Amin?
Yeah, I mean, I think the issue is that misinformation doesn't just come from bots, right? There's a false dichotomy. There's the idea that, like, oh, if we get rid of the bots, all the misinformation is gone. One of the reasons why Donald Trump was deplatformed was because he was willfully and knowingly spreading misinformation, saying things that just weren't accurate, weren't true, and riling people up as a result. And I think to say that Twitter isn't an editorial thing or isn't a news agency is kind of a cop-out. It clearly has a great deal of influence in how people feel, and in most importantly, not how people as a whole feel, because if you look at the penetration of Twitter compared to Facebook, Instagram, and several other social media platforms, it's not there. it's not anywhere near as influential or as pervasive.
It's I
as
mean
those other ones.
the numbers I've seen recently is like 7% of people are allegedly on Twitter, and half of those are bots, or 40% of those are bots, or some absurd number. It's not that many people who are actually on Twitter.
It's not that many people, except it's who the people are, right? Who's on Twitter? It's not that there's a lot of people on Twitter. It's most of the people, or many of the people on Twitter, or I shouldn't even say many of the people on Twitter. People who work in journalism and media are more likely to be on Twitter than any other profession out there. And so when the people charged with telling you how the world is and what's happening are all on this platform that brainwashes them into thinking, for instance, that what's happening to Ben Simmons is a travesty. Why? Because the Twitter echo chamber also, yes, it's so bad, it's so bad. But the reality is when you exit Twitter, not too many people hold that opinion. In the same way that the transgender swimmer, right?
Leah Thomas, right? Who many people are saying are in uproar about whether or not. Like, the reality is when you extend that conversation outside the confines of Twitter, it's pretty, like, single block on that one. The vast majority of people say, hey, it doesn't seem right that someone who was born a man and transitioned into being a woman should be able to compete athletically with women. I'm not saying whether it's right or wrong. I'm telling you this is what the vast majority. No, but it's not. I mean, we can all agree it's not. It's not a fair sporting concept. Everyone can basically agree on that. No, but Dan, everyone can, except if you're on Twitter, where you will be dubbed a transphobe. And you can say, look, I know people are afraid of this. You can say, you can say that it's not fair for a sporting achievement and still have the decency to extend tolerance and humanity to equals. Then, yes, that is my and your philosophy, because we are nuanced, regular people. But on Twitter, people turn into this exaggerated form of championing things without using much logic and accepting or expecting that this is how the world is. And when the majority of people who are working in the industry that's supposed to tell the rest of us what's happening, what to think, whatever, if they're all what's true and what's not, they are influenced by this echo chamber. And so it becomes way more powerful, even though not that many people are using it. A great example of this is the 2016 election, where Trump wasn't doing well in the primaries. But media people were so incensed about the things that he was saying, and more importantly, the things that he was tweeting, that they would make it into news stories. And the rest of the country are like, really? And that's how he gained popularity. If they just simply said, yeah, we're not going to pay attention to this, it wouldn't have been a thing. He probably wouldn't have been a thing. He would have been a sideshow like so many other sideshows in the history of U.S. elections.
Does this mean we're not going to have ball sack sports anymore?
Oh, ball sack got into some hot water this weekend.
What'd they do?
They tweeted something that was actually true.
That sounds painful. So, what? Ball sack getting into some hot water.
Why would they do such a thing? It's ridiculous.
Sounds horrible. It just, what was the thing that happened?
So apparently the Utah Jazz have some concept jerseys that might be coming out soon. And Ballsack tweeted out the pictures from the Ballsack Sports account. And so a lot of people are saying, wait a second, these are actually real. So if your whole thing is satire and parody and like
be a newsmaker too. Be both. Show some.
You're getting away from your game. No. Trick Dan. That's it.
Show some range. Trick me, but also on occasionally build your credibility to trick me more because you report things that are also true.
It's a changeup. You throw the fastball, changeup. Now it's like, well, what's the next pitch? I don't know. Is it a changeup? Is it a fastball? Is it a curveball?
Yeah, but you need to know. It makes them less credible, if you understand what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yeah.
It makes them less credible by being more credible.
Yeah, telling the truth makes ballsack less credible.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Stay in your lane, man.
Also, is everyone going to be verified now? Because then verification is not fun, right? Like everyone has a blue check mark. What's the point?
Right.
I mean, I don't have a blue check mark, but if everyone has one, I don't want one. You know what I mean? Unless there's like a blue check mark and a gold check mark next to the blue check mark, then we're talking.
There has to be status, right? You can't just make the blue check marks everybody. Musk can't do that. He's the most powerful man in the world with his money. But no, I won't allow it. I need to be special in my own kind of elite with my media elite with my blue check mark.
I just like to add
Animal
more
Farm.
than 4 options to polls because we often have more than 4 options on polls here, and then I have to like go to like a third-party site to do it. Like if we could get like 8 to 16 options, that would be great, but not tell Dan Stugotz that there's 8 to 16 options because then every poll will have 8 to 16 options, and then we'll need 32 options. You know, Elon, if
Also,
you're listening, yeah.
Get rid of the character limit on those poll options, right? It's like I can barely get the words out.
Oh
to
yeah, the
explain what I'm trying
25
to-
per option. Yeah, too
that's
little.
terrible.
Yeah.
Let's make a list. Let's make a list of things we
Let's
should write
do
to
that.
Elon.
Yeah, we can send to Elon suggestions, tips.
So we're worried about democracy, free press, and misinformation, and also just some helpful tips to Elon on things that will make our Twitter experience a little bit better as the world's wealthiest man just buys up an information center that could be weaponized and be used as freedom is under attack and democracy in 2024. But whatever. It's just, good time.
Maybe you go back to like getting news from websites.
Could you imagine?
Like you go to like
No way.
You can't put that toothpaste back in the tube. Like if you take away Twitter from the Twitter addicted, you're taking away our information source.
What if this is what brings back newspapers?
newspapers.
Then you just throw all the power in the hand of Bezos, who's going to start buying those up.
Well, who do we trust then, Dan? Where do
Nobody.
we go? We can't trust Twitter for our news. We can't trust newspapers for our news. Ballsack now is telling the truth.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on?
It's just a great.
CNN Plus doesn't exist
Oh, my
anymore, like
God.
Lewis says in the corner
What
over
a
there.
disaster! What a disaster!
Now we're only going to see Rex Chapman 23 hours a day.
By the way, CNN Plus, my favorite thing was someone tried to blame Jamel Hill for CNN Plus failing. It's like, yeah, maybe your show should have been done better numbers. And she said, yeah, we haven't even aired an episode yet. I don't know what you wanted me to do.
I can't believe they spent how many hundreds of millions of dollars, got 10,000 subscribers, and just shuttered the doors within a month. Said, "Oh my God, there's no saving this. We were publicizing this a lot, and we have to get out of this business quickly."
I don't understand who CNN Plus is for. If you want wall-to-wall news coverage, that's what CNN is for. Why do you need
It was
an
supposed to
extra
present the
service?
other side of Don Lemon, the other side of Anderson
What?
Cooper, the wacky side of Anderson. I'm serious. That's how they promoted it.
I just can't believe you read the stories about it, and this is basically like a corporate politics problem where CNN was created by Warner Media. They're being acquired by Discovery. The new executives came and were like, nah. And so they just threw something in the like, you would have thought that in the negotiations, maybe they go, hey, the CNN Plus thing, maybe don't do that. And they save themselves $250 million.
Witty, well, what happened was Jeff Zucker, the former head of Warner Media and CNN, was the guy who championed CNN Plus, and then he got in his hot water for having an affair of some sorts with another coworker, and he was ousted. So this was kind of like the brainchild of the guy who doesn't work there anymore. And as a result, that's where we get to the place where Discovery is like, yeah, we already have our app that has all of these reality shows that people love. Why do we need you guys to build one from scratch? You can just absorb what we like from your CNN Plus shows onto our platform.
I urge you to listen to today's South Beach sessions with John Skipper and David Sampson as they take you inside the machine and explain to you how when Apple gets into football, they don't care if they lose hundreds of millions of dollars. They've got so much money that they just want to get into football. And even if the loss is in the billions, you shrug it off because you're like, whatever, I didn't want that guy to be running. That's it. I want to eradicate CNN Plus because it's a previous regime. Get it out of here. That you can take losses like that and even the public relations hit of a loss like that and shrug it off because some of this stuff, you're making so much money daily that it doesn't even matter. Apple is getting into the football business and they're the front runners on this thing. And I'm assuming, I don't know what's being reported, but I'm assuming that McAfee is going to be one of the guys that ends up at Amazon as well, as all of these streaming services fight for all of the giant dollars because television's a total free-for-all. And there's so much money still in legacy media as Elon Musk buys up Twitter and Bezos gets the Washington Post and they try and Zuckerberg has his own media outlet with Facebook that allows him to buy sacred Hawaii land and not give a bleep. Like this whole thing is getting blown up in a free-for-all, and Elon Musk just bought a giant information source. And I don't feel like any of us know what it actually means.
It means he's rich.
But you keep saying that, but it's just
I don't know what
like
it means.
if I put a dangerous toy in a person's hand that is unusual and we're all a little confused by. Are you not scared of putting a dangerous toy in that person's hand, or am I being alarmist? Am I being a liberal fool?
He was already in dangerous hands.
Yeah.
So, I'm not here for the days of waxing poetic how it is right now on Twitter.
But is it any less dangerous today with this purchase?
I don't
More
know.
dangerous?
I don't know.
I've got enough things on my plate to be scared of. I do. I have frogs. I have meteors headed towards Earth. The Jets have 2 of the top 10 picks in the draft. I got plenty, Dan.
Okay.
I'm not worried about
All right.
Elon Musk.
We have to get to the draft. We will do so, but Stugotz's weekend observations are next. We've got a lot to get to in a little bit of time. Stugotz's weekend observations, funniest thing from the sports weekend. But first, because we're in a hurry, Jessica, it is time for your F1 Minute.
Mamma mia, it's the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, and it's a sprint weekend, Dan. Verstappen finishes first in qualifying, but it's Ferrari's home race. Watch out for Charles Leclerc. He gets better start during the sprint race.
Hold on.
Hold on.
You gotta wait for the beat to drop.
Yeah.
No, I only have 1 minute.
No,
you
you
guys
have to
keep
wait.
trying to do this so I don't get
It's
through it. I'm not stopping.
Can you
With
say
points on the
Mamma
line,
Mia
Leclerc got the
before
lead.
talking
The
about
Tifosi are
things
cheering, but wait,
Italian?
Max Verstappen overtakes Leclerc with 2 laps to go. He's on pole for Sunday's race. Sunday morning, it's raining in Imola. La Pioggia, anything can happen when it rains on race day. Lights out and away we go. Lap 1, Verstappen gets a good start. He's ahead of Leclerc. Danny Rick slides into Carlos Sainz. He just signed an extension with Ferrari, and now he's out. There's a safety car. Verstappen, Perez, and Baby Lando have the lead. Kevin Magnussen and Russell are battling for 5th. It's a motor race, Toto. Where is the rain? Where is Lewis Hamilton? Where the hell is DRS? Finally, DRS is enabled, and there's Lewis Hamilton being lapped by Max Verstappen. Yikes. 11 laps to go. Charles Leclerc has the sausage curb. He has damage from the sausage curb. He has to pit. Oh, Maron! The sausage! The downfall of the Italians!
Sausage, the
it's the your own
sausage.
people! Verstappen, Perez, and Baby Lando are back in 1-2-3. Bottas and Russell battling for 4th. Revenge battle. The final lap. Verstappen finishes on top. Perez is in 2nd. A 1-2 finish for Red Bull. First of the season, probably not the last. And Baby Baby Norris, I should say, takes the 3rd spot on the podium. Dan Ferrari fails at home. Half of McLaren bounces back. Lewis Hamilton's worst finish since I don't even know when. I couldn't even look it up. I don't even know. He finished in 14th. It was terrible. And the world champion Max Verstappen is back on top of the podium. Vroom, vroom.
Boom. Well done. How many things?
Sausage curb.
How many things are you going to be going to F1 related here as Miami becomes the Super Bowl over the next couple of weeks? Are you going to be in all the loud parties? How much access do you have to?
That's a phenomenal question. As far as the race is concerned, Wadey and I applied for credentials. Still haven't heard back. They said they let us know between 1 to 2 weeks before the race. That's not really a lot of time.
That's
to
now.
Figure
isn't
out
it?
if you
That's
can
now.
They should tell you today.
They should tell me right now, but apparently I might find out as late as like next Sunday.
Don't go on vacation. Mike take your spot.
Well, what happened there? Because we're going to get to funniest thing from the sports weekend. But Chris, yes, you were away, and Mike took your highlight team, and Billy tried to defend it. Thought Mike was very selfish, and I think Mike did take your highlight team, your champion highlight team.
It's a rough time for Mike right now. He just lost the Browns. So he's like reaching for stuff and looking for things. So I understand.
Lots of friendly fire today. Jeez.
I understand he's looking for something, but those players know who they play for.
Do they? Because I've heard interviews with those players. And the fan Le Batard Show, God bless Highlight, or Carballo, who had the match.
He wasn't making
clincher.
that up. That's a real thing, and you shouldn't have called him out on it because there are people out there doing the reported work as Chris goes on a vacation and you cruise, you lose.
You didn't send a note to the team. Wow. They were confused as to why you weren't there. You and I have attended as many highlight matches of the Cessa Cyclones. So I was there to lift the cup, and I got to know these men. I know their stories. I know their souls. I am the owner.
Do you know their souls, Chris?
When's the draft, Mike?
Whoa.
I know when my draft is. I'm not sure when your draft is. Maybe, I made a lot of good contacts in my time now being owner of the Cessa Cyclones. Maybe I can get you a little expansion team after I protect 3 crucial players.
How do we decide who owns the team? Like, should we make this a poll? Like, who owns?
You should make them fight.
I don't think you do a
good
I like that.
idea. That's a good idea.
I'm sorry.
Fight's a good idea.
Let me tell you something. You do not go on a cruise during championship weekend, and you most certainly do not ghost them when they come through and win a title. Deplorable.
It's all fun and games for you as an owner until Manu's dad starts calling you asking for more playing time. Then we'll see how you handle being a sports owner, Mike.
We'll see next season, week 3. It's typical South Florida sports face. Shows up for the championship game, very excited.
Who shows up week 1? Are you both showing up, though? It's going to be a very awkward moment.
We've been to as many matches.
But if I'm not there, I'm watching on Twitch.
I'm also watching on Twitch. Prove that I'm not.
The part I'm most confused by is I don't know much about business.
They have to fight, Dan.
Yeah.
I'm just
I'm good with that. Put a knife in the middle. We're 15 yards away from the knife.
We should split the highlight team in half.
We are in the draft. You'll get the players that I don't want.
Wait, every
If
year.
you really loved it, you wouldn't split it in half, though.
Every year, everyone's back up for grabs.
Explain it, Mike.
Yeah, you get to have keepers. I'm sorry. Did you just try to flex on me like I don't know the bylaws of the front?
When's the draft?
Hold on. I want
Excuse
to hear Chris explain it.
I can't explain it. You get to keep 3 players, and then the rest of the players go back into a draft.
I
Chris said it
finished the
first.
sentence first.
Chris
Thank you
said
very
it
much.
first.
I finished the sentence first.
When's the draft?
It's coming up.
There's a new season coming up in September.
Billy, before
This
you
Thursday.
But
before
don't
you
worry, that's battle court season. But there's all sorts of individual and different competitions.
I was
going
thinking
on.
maybe at least we could be coners, but it's fine if it's it's fine.
You know when he was
Just wanna
gone,
take it from you.
he tried when you were gone. He tried to switch it from go cones to go clones. I don't know if
yeah.
you
He
heard
did.
about that.
And also, Billy came on my side. Like he backed me up.
turned?
Yeah.
I don't
He did.
remember.
Yeah.
He did
Possible.
because he said that it was a terrible look that you didn't congratulate the.
Yeah, it
clones.
wasn't a great. Yeah, I don't remember if I said that,
we,
but I thought it.
we all agree on that portion of it. You did the bare minimum. You did the very least. You did not care about your champions. But what I know, again, because I'm not a business person, about corporate raids and takeovers, when Billy asks the question, who owns this? And Mike's response is, I do. I don't think that's how that works.
It's not.
Like, I don't.
That's what
I-
Elon
I-
did, basically.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm putting the hostile and hostile takeover. It's not just called a takeover. It's a hostile one. He doesn't want to. Is there a nice takeover? Is there a kind takeover? No, this is a hostile takeover.
You guys should play highlight against each other to decide who owns the
I
highlight.
love that little one-on-one. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
in.
That'll do.
I'm in.
Okay, well now you've got something. Now you've got something.
You own the
Dangerous
team. You don't
sport.
have to do anything,
yes,
man.
it is a dangerous
It's a
sport.
dangerous
Yes,
sport.
yes,
I
you
know.
can get hit.
It's
with
very
it. You know
difficult
what
to
you're
do.
doing?
Get insurance first.
Mike's going to send rocket shots at you. Like this, you can throw the ball very fast. With
I was
that
actually
system.
playing pickup yesterday with Carballo at the front end, so I think we're good.
I do think you'll both be
We're gonna
terrible.
go fly to
though.
watch school in Tennessee. I think I've made bonds that'll be there for the rest of my life with the Cessa Cyclones. This is my team.
I had
You
to
can
put
have
you on the
another
list to
team.
get you in.
Ooh,
Jesus.
Wow.
Chris, if we want to play the game
Uh-oh.
on who got who access to highlight, you're gonna lose.
I know.
Okay,
Wow.
it's my team. You can have the Wall Warriors.
Wow.
I don't think that
I mean,
that's how that works.
You're giving up the
Shocking
Cyclones.
that Mike would make this all about himself. He was the world's biggest dart fan a couple years ago.
Love
He was a
darts.
Masters guy last month. There's
Big
a theme
Masters
here.
guy.
A theme here.
What's the theme?
Mike likes a shiny thing. He was a Bitcoin guy for a little. He just
Still a Bitcoin guy.
That's
Thank you
what it
very
is.
much. Hold
So
on.
the theme is Mike.
What's
is what
next?
You're saying.
That's what I
Yes.
mean, Jess. You better watch F1. Just be careful.
Better.
Watch your back
Oh
with
my
F1.
God! In 2 weeks, I'm gonna be the
You're going, aren't
biggest
you?
gear
You're
guy.
going,
Oh,
aren't you?
Elon
yeah.
Mike.
Am I going?
Elon Mike.
Elon Mike.
Yeah.
Um,
Am I going?
Amin's still
I'm
here.
gonna go places that you would only dream of. Maybe in the cockpit. Is that what they call that thing?
But Chris,
You drive the safety car. I swear to freaking God, Mike.
it does
Tell you
happen
what, I'm
around
gonna be there.
here.
I'm not gonna watch a second of that fucking race. I don't care about it. I care about the famous people and drinking.
Well,
That's what I
same.
care about.
Well, wait a minute,
And
though.
access.
Chris, then maybe by September he won't want to be the owner of the highlight team
Just
anymore,
let
so
this
you don't
play
have
out
to
a little
fight.
bit. Wait till week 2 next season. I
You
think
should
we'll be
fight
fine.
now, though, or play each other
Yeah,
now.
play each other now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like this
Good
week would
promotion.
be
I
great.
do like
yeah.
shiny things, and that trophy was shiny.
Did your baby kiss that trophy?
Nah, I haven't seen it.
Wow. Oh boy.
Wow.
Oh boy.
It's your trophy, man.
I was in Mexico.
Tell you what, I'll text the people at Highlight. You can go over and visit it.
I was in Mexico is your slogan on what used to be your ownership. Like that. What a great just you lobbing out there. Yes,
Former owner.
I've lost the team. What a great sentence. I was in Mexico, haunted from your vacation, your cruise ship vacation. You cruise, you lose. You came back pink and bloated, and you lost your team because Mike says so.
Yes. Also, you haven't addressed me by my current name, which is Mike Ryan, presented by Sheets and Giggles. I also took that.
You lost Shiggles too.
Oh my God! All right,
Jeez.
so
Checks are still clearing.
well, but Billy,
all
Mike
that matters.
Ryan
You
of
get paid?
Cheering.
Mike Ryan of Sheets and Giggles is lashing out, Billy, because he thinks that you stole his Detroit trip.
What? How is that possible?
I mean,
now he's a baseball guy.
I was a
mean,
big Tigers guy.
Christ.
He
You know
went
I'm a
first.
big Tigers
Yeah,
guy. I went
right.
first.
Mhm.
Big Tigers guy. Everyone knows that I should have been on that trip. I
Oh.
bleed ambiguously dark blue. Is it blue that they wear? Sometimes. It depends on the uniform.
I think of it as black. I think
It's
of it,
close to black.
It's a navy blue.
It's like Vanta Navy.
Yeah.
Time now for Stugotz's
I'm looking it up. Hold on here.
funniest thing for the Detroit
That's
Tigers.
a fine. It's weekend observations.
I'm sorry, my bad.
You have a funniest thing segment?
So is this fight happening or what?
Yep. Kitchen.
It's navy blue. I mean,
Is it the
Yeah.
Tiger
It's
slogan?
especially dark.
officially, yeah.
It's especially dark. It's a very dark. You caught that, right? A couple of Detroit guys cutting it up.
Time now for Stugotz's weekend observations.
It is time for Stugotz to share his game notes. No one in the media will tell you what happened better than my boy Stu.
Weekend observations brought to you by Miller Lite. Great taste, 96 calories, available for delivery. Dan, it's a tradition unlike any other. Football IQ, hand size, deceptively fast, best available player, change of pace back, every down player, Las Vegas, Mel, Todd, and Daniel Jeremiah. And Dan, make no mistake about it, draft week is back. Big week.
The NFL wants everything every month. They just took Christmas games, Stugotz. They're not respecting anyone. They're like basketball.
should they?
We want your day, basketball. We want Christmas Day.
They can have all the days if they want them, Dan. I mean, they
Amazon.
can.
And
They're
the
gonna
reports
want
are
every
Amazon's
month.
really pushing for a Black Friday NFL game to tether it to their
Wow.
Can you imagine Amazon specials while you're watching the NFL?
They should get Prime Day.
Cyber Monday.
Mm-hmm. Ben Simmons. Play. Don't play. I don't give a shit anymore. If someone pointed at Chris Finch and made me guess his profession based on physical appearance alone, my first guess would be an NBA coach. The C in Chris Finch stands for coach. Have you seen this guy?
Is this Bill Finch's kid?
I think it's Bill Fitch. That's a fine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the Celtics coach back in the 80s.
You got me two fines. You got me.
Bill Finch?
You got me on weekend observations. I'm in $10 and it's early.
Have you seen Finchy, though?
No.
Looks like a coach. Just me? Or are the flies everywhere? You've seen those, right? I mean, they're everywhere. Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Thank you. It's annoying.
Flies are annoying.
Dan, this is the most amount of flies I've ever seen. I mean, I bought a swatter.
They're way up. Yeah, I have a swatter as well. Yeah.
Electric. You have
The electric zapper.
You have the zapper.
Yeah, no, I have a zapper.
Yeah, oh, there's
I
nothing
do
better.
have one. Yeah, it's baby blue and white. It's a cute one. Yeah.
Zappers for mosquitoes, though, right?
They can work
Yeah,
on
but it's
anything.
multi-purpose. Yeah,
I love
multi-purpose.
when you zap a fly and it goes on the ground and it's still moving. I'm like, that's right. That's what happens when you fly around my kitchen.
No, I want it to be
said that-
quick.
No, I don't want a quick death.
No,
I want
I-
that thing to flutter and then I step on it and I end it.
Wow.
Get the hell out of my
Jeez.
kitchen.
They're annoying.
Chris,
I'm fine stunning it and just kind of letting it go back outside.
You guys
Yeah.
ever
Chris.
smack a fly in midair and like slap it around a little and it gets all disoriented?
Yeah,
and
it's
then
like
you're
once.
oh, I
just
got
once.
it.
Just once.
It's a game though, because it doesn't die. It's just like high five, boom, and then you shoot it across the room, and then it gets back.
you got to let that corpse sit there as tribute to all the other ones.
Yep.
To know this is what happens when you
Right.
come around my house.
I do that with roaches. I'll have the roach. I don't have it sitting inside, but I'll put it right at the doorstep, like going outside, like right in the door frame, so that all the roaches know, shall you enter into this domain, this is your
A
future.
warning. So you've got a roach scarecrow.
That's right.
You've got
Stupid though. They never follow. They
they're
never
not-
observe it.
these are
They
not
don't
thinking-
respect it.
No, these are
Quite
not
often they
thinking-
don't respect
Hildy
it.
taught me that if you don't like flush them down the toilet right away, they can still hatch. What? The roaches on
Wait a
their back
minute.
can hatch after they die.
You pick up the roach and flush it down the toilet?
You have to do it immediately.
Well,
They
what do
can
you
still
do?
hatch.
Hey,
What do you
Yes,
do?
That is what I do. Yes.
No, you
I
throw
throw
it
it in the
away
garbage.
outside. Garbage
Yeah.
outside.
Yeah,
Yeah, no.
garbage.
Because roaches sometimes they've learned to swim,
In
and
the
I don't want a
toilet?
roach coming up my toilet and going up something else. If you know what I mean? My butt.
Got it.
Thank you, Billy, for the clarification.
Because
I
you
was
sit
kidding.
on it, and
I
then
was
there's
kidding.
only
I
one place for the roach
understand,
to go.
How
Right,
on
you know?
earth
Worse.
could that happen?
It's happened. Not to me, but I've heard.
Billy.
Look it up.
Okay, thank you.
That a boy.
Okay, I'll look it up on the internet. Put it on the poll.
There's probably sites dedicated to people putting roaches up their
Has a
butts. I'm
dead
telling you.
roach ever come to life, become a salmon swimming upstream, and become lodged
It's
in
happened.
the human
It's
ass?
happened.
Has it happened?
You know
yes
it's
or
happened.
no?
Yeah, it's happened.
Everything's happened.
Snakes come up there sometimes. How do they get in there, you know?
Right. You agree most things have happened,
I would
right?
say that snakes get in there usually living. It's the once the roach is dead, it's not swimming back up just to have
How do you know?
a nice time at
defying
life inside
gravity.
your ass.
Hmm.
And then if you're going number 2, wouldn't it just come right back out? Not to get graphic. But.
Thanks for not getting.
I see a
Circle
Reddit
of
post. I see a Reddit post with the headline: "Can roaches climb up your butthole when you're asleep?"
Thank you.
Okay, that's
And?
again.
I'll click on it. I'll
living-
click on
these
it.
Are these are
Can we have some
these-
answers, please?
I'm just giving you the answers. Those are living roaches. Kill the roach dead, and the roach will not come back and haunt your
You
inner.
think you're a know-it-all? Let's
Exactly.
see what Reddit says. all right?
Sometimes you
I
think
mean,
a roach is dead and it's not. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? The roach plays possum, if you will.
Dan, we lost another hockey great over the weekend. Guy Lafleur, a top 5 Canadian of all time. Top 5 Canadians of all time. Number 5, Adnan Virk. Number 4.
A little high.
What do you mean?
It's just a little high.
He's one of the all-time greats.
Overrated.
Number 4, Bob Gainey. Number 3, Larry Robinson. He's one of the all-time great defenders in hockey history. Number 2, Guy Lafleur. And number 1, Dan, Alan Thicke. Too high?
Horrible
That's
list, Stugotz.
And
You
He
left
gave it-
so
he
many
gave it
people
no
off of
thought.
that.
Who did I leave
He
out?
gave it zero thought.
Alan Thicke, Adnan Virk. Who did I? Getty Lee, perhaps? Who-
Celine Dion, Justin
Oh,
Bieber,
please, Celine
Keanu
Dion.
Reeves,
One-hit
Drake,
wonder. I mean,
Michael
please.
Cera,
All right.
Jim
Keanu
Carrey,
Reeves is Canadian?
according to Google.
It's my list.
Jonathan Huberdeau.
Seth Rogen.
Oh, hoops.
Keanu Reeves from Hawaii?
He was born in Lebanon, apparently.
Then he's not
It
Canadian.
says he's Canadian. Keanu Reeves is a Canadian actor, is the first line on his Wikipedia page.
Is that like a Point Break surfing thing? What are you doing there?
Again with Point Break.
No, but Amin said he's from Hawaii. Oh, I thought it was.
Keanu.
Oh, Keanu. Here come the Wild. Playing good hockey. Appreciate the Charlotte Hornets firing head coach James Borrego? I'm asking.
As a question mark.
Because now I know who was coaching the Hornets the last 4 years. I thought it was Steve Clifford. Congratulations to Coach Borrego for getting the job.
Billy, what are you doing? What is it? What have
I'm
you?
very confused about Keanu Reeves because the first like 2 sentences of his Wikipedia is like everywhere but Canada, but it says he's Canadian. Keanu Charles Reeves was born in Beirut, Lebanon on September 2nd, 1964, the son of Patricia, a costume designer and performer, and Samuel. His mother is English, originating from Essex. His American father is from Hawaii and is of native Hawaiian, Chinese, English, Irish, and Portuguese descent. His paternal grandmother is Chinese Hawaiian. Where's the Canadian in this?
The couple moved to Toronto, Canada, and divorced in 1971. When Reeves was 9, he took part in a theater production. Blah blah blah. He grew up outside of Toronto and went to high school in Toronto. Ergo, he's a Canadian, as the first
He's
sentence of his
Hawaiian.
Wikipedia page
No.
suggests.
His
Hawaiian.
mother moved to Australia. I mean, no.
He grew up in
Keanu.
Canada. Say you're sorry.
Hawaiian.
Is it possible that he became a citizen? That he decided he so loved Canada that he became a Canadian
Impossible.
citizen? Not one of the possibilities.
Jaguars general manager Trent Baalke said they are considering 4 players with the number 1 pick. Fortunately, for 3 of them, he could only choose 1. What's the matter with Baalke?
I'm sorry, no. Amin just unleashed a couple of sneezes that had him jarred, and I wish they'd been on air because they sounded like monsters.
Ryan Reynolds is Canadian.
He
Your
is.
list
Van
was
City,
horrible.
Van City Ryan.
Listen, it's my list. Feel free to make your list of top 5 Canadians. I went with Adnan Virk, Bob Gainey, Larry Robinson, Guy Lafleur, Alan Thicke. It's a good list for me.
I'm on it, Dano.
How'd you hear the sneezes if he was...
It's not the sneezes. I saw him violently lurching forward into the camera angle because he was sneezing.
What an asshole I am for asking you that. I mean, sorry about that.
You're not even an eighth done with your observations.
The Jets are going to trade their 2 first-round picks for the security guard at the T-Wolves game.
That was excellent work. That was amazing. She was dressed as an NBA referee. She took off and was very quick, and that security guard was watching the entire time because we cannot talk about this enough. There have now been 3 protests at Minnesota games because Glenn Taylor is suffocating chickens, and one of the women glued herself to the court.
They're 3-0 in those games, by the way.
When there are protests, when,
Yes.
when there are
Did you know
suffocated
that? Yeah.
chickens being protested.
My stat of the day. Death, taxes, and a restructured Tom Brady contract that frees up $9 million. A Christmas miracle. The NFL is going to give us 3 games on Christmas Day. Dan, you know what the M in Merry Christmas stands for?
More football.
Yeah, look at you. Look at you. Great. A built-in excuse for Joel Embiid. You know what the E in Joel Embiid stands for?
Excuse.
Look at you, 2 for 2.
Yes, I'm on a hot streak.
You know what else it stands for? Everyone's hurt this time of year.
That's true.
I don't want to hear it from him. According to sources, Joel Embiid will need thumb surgery after the season. According to my sources, their sources is Joel Embiid. Woody was wrong. Chris Middleton isn't the Bucks' best player. Grayson Allen is. The G in Grayson stands for grapefruits. Don't need to think about it now. Stash it away in the something to ponder file. Might the Mavs be better without Luka Doncic? Again,
Oh, no.
no need to think about it now.
No.
Brunson's good,
I mean,
and so is Dinwiddie.
what?
I mean, they lost when Luka came back.
Oh, my God.
You agree with me?
No.
Seemed like we were headed that direction.
Luca is one of a number of people. I don't know. I probably annoy you people at this point with this, but Luca is one of a number of people who do things, and I'm like, how the hell? How? I don't understand how any of that is happening. How nobody can stop anything he's doing. Like, I'm watching it and I don't understand it.
Like the wake in, and he can't stop himself from going to a buffet, that kind of stuff. I mean, he's terrible, Luka. Mike said he's one of the 3 players he would choose to start a franchise today if he wanted to win a
He's
title.
terrible.
He's not winning a title. He's not.
It's terrible.
Ever. Never winning a title.
Just to be clear, Luca's terrible.
Not that good. Jalen's good. Congratulations to the Raptors and Nuggets for staving off elimination. And congrats to the Jazz, T-Wolves, and Pelicans for knotting their series up at 2 games apiece. Heat Hawks game 3, the rare game where a team goes on a 21-0 run and loses. The R in Red Bull stands for Ruro? Rut-row.
Rut-row.
Who wrote this? The V in Verstappen
Stugotz, how is
stands for vroom vroom.
what just happened possible? How is what just happened?
I'm not watching Formula One. I'm telling you, I'm watching Jane Pauley Sunday
Stugotz,
morning.
How can you be so lazy as to not read your own things before you do them so that does not happen?
Liza Minnelli this week.
He's going to just spray. He's just going to spray all over the Stugotz. That is a
I had
staggering.
no idea Verstappen won until Jess told me a minute ago.
Staggering mistake you just made.
Vroom vroom. Tampa Bay Lightning, Minnesota Wild, Lord Stanley, collision course. The Lightning scare me, man. 21-0 run by the Heat, followed by a 43-26 run by the Hawks. You know why, Dan?
Roo.
Because the NBA is a game of runs. You were close, though. It's Rut-oh.
It's Rut-row.
I'm going to find myself. And you. You got it wrong. I got it wrong.
I'm not getting it wrong.
$5 each?
I do not have it wrong.
What do we got here?
How do you read that way?
3 for me, 5 for you.
Why don't you read your things before you read your things?
You know, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Today was one of those days where I did it. Can't believe the Nets wasted the Blake Griffin game. Good job by the Hawks not wasting the Oneko Oganu game. It's a mouthful.
You were afraid of it. I could
Couple
tell.
of O's cutting it up.
I
Yeah.
could tell when you got close to it
wow.
that you were afraid of it.
Nervous wreck.
Say that name again.
Ruh-roh.
Oneka Okongu.
Better.
Well, what is it? How do you pronounce it?
Onyeka Kangu.
That was close.
Thank you, Amin. This is why you're the expert insider that you are.
Dan, you know what the L stands for in ATL?
No.
It stands for L. Hawks. The rare win or lose and go home game. Paul Pierce tweeted, I think Jason Tatum is surpassing Kevin Durant right before our eyes in the NBA hierarchy. The truth. Death. I know what happened there. Just we don't need to revisit
what
it.
did happen? You
Right
blew-
before
you-
our eyes. I mean, I felt it.
You blew your signature line. You forgot.
I said it right. Not really. Death, taxes, and Angel Hernandez, making it all about Angel Hernandez. By the way, can't take Paul Pierce having the nickname The Truth seriously. Top 5 people who shouldn't have the nickname The Truth. Number 5, Paul Pierce. Number 4, Aaron Rodgers. Number 3, Rick Pitino. Number 2, Donald Trump. And number 1, me.
Head of Trump.
I did.
Yes,
I put myself ahead of him.
For sure.
The
You
right
should.
thing to do.
Yes, it is the right thing to do.
And
Here
it's
come
not
the
even
Twinkies. What?
It's not close. You're right. And you're both right. And here come the Twinkies.
You're number one by a lot.
Well, thank you. I mean, I put myself there.
Bigly.
I mean, you guys are telling me something that I know. Anyway, where were we? Tyson Fury indicated he's ready to retire. Here's what I know about boxing and Tyson. There will be more Fury.
No, but wait a minute. That one's crazy. He retired, and then it was, I'm going to fight Ngannou. And it's
More
like,
Fury.
And it's
Yeah.
like, what?
Yeah.
No, but it's not even boxing. I don't understand how those two things can be said on the same night. I'm retiring from fighting. I'm going to fight the UFC heavyweight champion because nobody pays him enough.
A little bit of Stugotz in everyone, Dan. The old increased security at Yankee Stadium to stave off 50,000 drunk, obnoxious New Yorkers from being drunk, obnoxious New Yorkers. Yankee fans, don't even think about getting mad at me. I'm one of you, except worse. I'm a Mets fan. 2 picks in the top 10. So many ways the Jets can F this up. I hate them. Grayson Allen, very confusing. Steve Nash said he doesn't wonder what if Kyrie got vaccinated. He should. He should also wonder about his job. And the question shouldn't be, what if? The question should be, why not? Dan, you know where the buck doesn't stop?
In Milwaukee.
In Chicago. That a boy. You were close.
I was in the area.
Gillies, Bossy, LaFleur. Hell of a hockey line in heaven. Speaking of hell, Art Briles. Dan, those are the weekend observations.
Why are you making that face, Mike?
It's a weird transition to the hell. Hell of a line.
I went from
in
heaven to hell. I know. Well, listen.
You took me on a journey.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome.